or Besakih. Back in Ubud, our host, Rejon, spent many years as a guide. And over breakfast, he would share more about Balinese culture, religion, and all about the temples we should see while in Bali. He was also kind enough to show us his home temple. So, following Rejon's advice, the next day we started our first day of temple visits with Besakih. Besakih Temple sits at approximately 1,000 meters up on the slopes of Mount Agung in eastern Bali. It's not really clear when Besakih was built, but experts estimate that it dates back at least 2,000 years. Besakih is the most important and largest temple in Balinese Hinduism. It contains more than 60 temples sitting on the side of Mount Agung. At Besakih, you'll see split gateways, shrines, courtyards, and several meadows. The paths along the temples are designed to lead you, spiritually and physically, up Mount Agung, a sacred mountain for Balinese Hindus. Keep an eye out for the main sanctuary of the temple when you visit Besakih. It contains rich symbolism and history and is known as the center of the entire complex. On our visit, we also learned that Besakih hosts many festivals to celebrate the anniversary of the different shrines found in the complex. And the calendar is different to the one we know. Here, it is based on the 210-day Balinese calendar, which aligns with the lunar phase. Hi everyone.
Hello.
So we just finished seeing Temple Besakih, and I want to give you our first initial impressions.
So this is the biggest complex of temples and the most important on Bali. So very, very important in the Balinese Hindu religion. And apparently, as we were told, like all the holy sacred water that you take to your village and that you take to your house must come from here or be blessed in this temple. So very, very important place. The complex is quite big. And the temples are impressive. They date from, I believe, 20th century onwards. So it's a very impressive thing to see. And now maybe our impressions and ratings. So what did you think, Uri?
Super impressive. It's big. There are many temples, and they are dedicated to Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. I think that's what they told us. Overall, I would say that the complex is 5 out of 5 for me. But then there are other smaller things along the way, like being approached by people trying to hand you offerings and asking for money, and also just being, I wouldn't say harassed, but we were approached by many people along the way.
Persuasive.
Trying to ask for different things. So if you come and visit, be aware that that's going to happen. So I would give that a 2, maybe a 1 out of 5 for that experience. But generally well organized, really impressive complex to see. It's sitting on the side of Mount Agung, so that's also pretty cool.
So an interesting thing is that the entire complex is apparently made of more than 69 temples, but the most important temples, there are like 3 or 4 of them, or like the spaces of the temples, because there's usually like the wall, and inside there are many different buildings or structures, let's call them this, and many other temples or other, let's say, enclosed walled areas actually belong to clans or different castes. So this is what makes the entire complex so big. And obviously to these you cannot enter because only members of the clan of the caste can enter this particular complex. And the other thing is obviously us as non-Hindu or not Balinese, we cannot enter any of the temples. So you basically walk around the temples. There are like little passages and little staircases, and this is how you can see it from the outside, but you obviously can peer through the walls and you can peer through the gates. So this is where all the tourists kind of gather and do the bottlenecks, which is another really
Arrive early. Later in the day, we visited Pura Penataran Agung Lempuyang. A temple that sits on the slope of Mount Lempuyang. Along with the rest of the complex, Pura Penataran is thought to provide spiritual balance and is regarded as one of the holiest places of worship in Bali. The temple complex faces Mount Lempuyang and is divided into 3 sections. Each has a different role, like storing sacred objects or serving as spaces for specific festivals during the year. The flights of stairs you see here take you to doors adorned with mythical figures. Along the way, you'll see many other sculptures inspired by Hindu epics.
Hello everyone!
Hi! Just visited Pura Penataran Agung Lempuyang, I think.
Lempuyang. Pura Lempuyang.
Much smaller than Besakih and Besakih. It's pretty. I like the layout that it has, especially with the statues of dragons carved into the stone. Super busy. Everyone's trying to take this reflecting mirror type of photo at the gates. And they give you a number at the entrance, and for me it felt like you were getting called to come up and order something. So impressions of the actual temple, I would say 5 out of 5. Experience with all the people trying to take this photo, maybe 1 out of 5. I think that'll bring mine down to maybe a 3.
Yeah, so what is really impressive is that this temple is on another slope, but it's a mountain that is against Mount Agung. So basically the temple is facing Mount Agung, and if it was not cloudy, and actually Mount Agung is covered by clouds today, you would be facing, by being in the temple, you would be facing Mount Agung, but today we didn't see it. So what everyone is waiting for is to take the famous picture at the gates with the Mount Agung in the background, but today it's not possible. The line is so huge that our number was 490 something,
yeah.
And currently the number was 200 and just the last thing we forgot to mention, actually, because the temple is so high up on the slope, you need to leave your car down on a parking, and then you pay a shuttle. We are currently sitting in the shuttle. You pay the shuttle 45,000 per person, and it takes you 3 kilometers up a slope. In the beginning we thought like maybe we'll walk and see the views on the way. The views were pretty impressive, but the climb is really steep, really steep, so don't walk. Take the shuttle like everyone else. But well, we think it's pretty expensive. For 3 kilometers you pay 45,000 per person, and then for the entrance to the actual temple you pay 55,000 per person. So now the shuttle that we paid for will take us down back to our car and our driver.
And off to the next one.
To the Tirthaganga.
Yeah.